Raymond Owen Powys was born on the 8th of July 1915 and was raised in Taree, New South Wales. He worked at the AMP for more than 45 years, commencing as a clerk and rising to head up the Society's property investments.
Raymond Owen Powys, ROP, or ROP as he was known to so many of us. The Taree boy who became the first property investment manager in AMP. And what a driving force he was, not only in AMP, but in property throughout Australia. And indeed, reaching beyond Australia to other countries, I think. Ray was highly regarded and his counsel was sought on many, many things.
Ray cut his teeth sorting out the finances on the AMP's 90-mile desert scheme in the 1950s, an ambitious plan to create arable farmland for returned soldiers in South Australia. He went on to initiate many of Australia's most iconic property investment projects, including the nation's first true high-rise development, the AMP building at Circular Quay, Centre Point in Sydney, Pacific Fair Shopping Centre, 10 Eagle Street in Brisbane, and Collins Place in Melbourne, to name a few.
Ray Powys was a pioneer of the property asset class in Australia. It's said that the Emperor Augustine found Rome to be built in brick and left it clothed in marble. And it's fair to say that Ray Powys encountered the real estate sector in its infancy and left it as an investment platform that created wealth for millions of Australians.
Ray's interests were extensive.
His range of interests was astounding. He helped place Macquarie University on a firm financial footing. He did the same with the CSIRO. He championed people with disabilities in the 70s. He was a mayor of Burnie in Tasmania in his 20s. He helped establish education courses for the property sector. He formed the Australian Property Institute, and of course, he helped establish the Property Council of Australia and was its early national president and first chief executive.
Once we got started, it became very obvious that people were looking to us to represent the owners of big commercial properties in dealings with government and financiers and people generally, and so we made a conscious decision later on that we would become a trade organisation. In other words, that we would represent our members for their benefit.
Well, I reckon Ray had an incredible ability to look at those broader things, to see, you know, from the AMP's point of view, but see where the AMP's point of view fitted into a broader industry point of view, to see where that broader industry point of view fitted into a national view, and where that national view fitted in internationally, globally, because he was a man of tremendous vision and a very restless, always wanting to do something, never quite satisfied with where he was. There was always something had to go on and on.
Macquarie University is now a world-leading university, and Raymond Powys was instrumental in this achievement. For 14 years, starting when Macquarie was very young, Ray, as council member and chair of the Finance Committee, set the foundations we now enjoy at Macquarie. Ray's contribution on the property side of Macquarie can be seen in over 30 international companies on our campus. His contribution to the business community in general is well known. Our prize for our best student in the Masters of Commerce is named after Ray. Ray will always be remembered and respected at this university, and we commend his induction into the Australian Property Hall of Fame.
He had this very quiet way, always able to listen to people, distill many different viewpoints, and then articulate that into a consensus view. All the time with this quiet manner, the ready smile, but which concealed a steely determination, which is the hallmark of all great reformers. He was a very fine man, and I wonder where the industry would be today if it were not for him.